Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM24 Yeti, episode number 20. We have 10 days total of .1 racing left. A couple stage races and a couple of one-day classics. And then we have 1 day of .pro racing left. So just 11 days overall. And this is an opportunity, but it's not going to be easy. The field is not very strong for this race, and it's a multi-stage race. We are on, it's the Tour of Istanbul. I think it's stage 1 of 4, or maybe 5. I think it's 4. I've got my two leaders in Hopkins and Walters here, but at this stage of the season, we are done with the fitness peaks, so these guys are all at 0 neutral, and we actually have a -6 draw for the day, so it's not good. And it's also not terribly surprising. It's late in the season. Fitness levels are starting to drop off for a few of the riders, but we did luck out in the only positives we got is the two guys that matter, who each could have and should have been at a 0. So Hopkins and Walters each draw a +2. But just ahead of us there is the breakaway, just behind the race director's car. In between, and you can't really see from here, the overlap is 7 riders who have just attacked the peloton. There's 31k left. I'm on the verge of losing my first guy, Muhammad, but I have to watch really closely to make sure that that gap is not growing to those attempted breakaway guys. If it starts to grow, if it goes out at all, I'm going to have to very early, with only 6 riders here and really only 5 riders now, have to try to chase, and I do not want to chase yet. Profile, punchy. It's the punchers that are going to go for this, but realistically, the punchy is just on the build-up. The finish line, well, okay, it's a little bit uphill. There's 3 more, or technically 4 if you count the next little bump in the road breakaways, but the breakaway itself has now been caught by those chasers. They have a 26-second advantage. Really need to watch, make sure that that is not going out, and it looks like it is under control over these next 2 climbs. And I'm going to start increasing effort here. Over these next 2 climbs, I don't want to be active. There was the first one. That was it. This one is the biggest climb of what remains, though. So it's definitely time to foot down. We've made contact with those guys. The peloton has shrunk quite a bit. There's only 95 riders left, and no one is riding hard at the moment. In fact, Muhammad is not even, or sorry, not Muhammad, Mahmoud is hanging in there. Like I said, I do not want to put the foot down until after this climb. But if somebody is about to attack, like this guy, 20k out, we're gonna take control. It's time. We don't want to wait anymore. So is it Hopkins or Walters today? 70 on the hills, 70 on the sprint. 71 on the hills, 69 on the sprint. What about the stamina? 71 versus 69. I suppose Walters will follow Hopkins. I think that hills rating, what was the acceleration like? 70, yeah, 72. The acceleration should help a little bit more than the overall sprint speed. Okay, Regatta is the 3rd man, and then I think we're going primarily off of just fatigue levels at this point. So Abdullah, you're up, buddy. What's a 90 gonna look like? Instant response. Instant response, so no successful attack there. And we're going to back off just a little bit, but let's set that tempo. 19k. Yeah, with a weakened field, with a hybrid type finish, I like our chances. +2 conditions on the 2 guys that matter. I like our chances for this one. We've only scored a single .1 victory. We're definitely due, but we're not due. we're due for a .1 in the grand scheme of things, but we're not due for a win, as we've had 3 of them in the last 3 episodes. It might be a little too much to ask for a 4th win in 4, right? All right, we've gotten 6k out of Abdullah so far, but he is getting pretty dang close to done. He's also getting really close to cresting and then descending. So we might be able to get the descent out of him without having to switch to Funzavith just yet, but we will gel up for Funzavith. Okay, Abdullah, give me your 99 effort. Yeah, we're cresting. We're a little slow. Oh, hey. But Seiken, he's going to be on the team next year. He's here.
10 kilometers to the finish line.
Yeah, tempo's not great right now. These guys are overcoming us, and we're inside 9K. I think now we can start to check out Abdullah and carry on from here. We don't need 99, though. That's a little harsh. 7K. 4 riders. Now putting that pressure on for the Sabbath. Okay. Down to a 93. Regatta getting ready. Okay, we've just about handled this penultimate one for the Sabbath, giving me a little bit more to get over the top before Regatta takes over. Now we can push on all the way towards the finish. I thought we could anyway. Regatta burnt through that red bar quite quickly. Okay, 3K. 3K, you got that little climb, so Regatta starting his sprint at 2.5. Here comes a couple others, and they do have a couple lead-out riders, so this is not going to be easy. But there goes Hopkins. Inside the final K for Walters. Hopkins definitely got a good lead-out. Walters lost his wheel a little bit. One of the 3 checks up. The second of the 3 checks up, but not the third. In fact, Walters checks up just before the line. Vatra hangs on, and that was the team that came flying through there. So a second place. Oh, so close. Urian Stad, who was the favorite, actually, comes on a little too late. He did not get the right lead out. So we set that up well enough, but one other team managed to do similar and be just a hair stronger than we were. So very close, but not quite. And I'm not sure if we're going to get the balance right in the coming stages. But the field overall is fairly weak, so there might be another chance with 3 more stages to come. Stage 2 is a short stage. The breakaway had 7 riders, as I just have 2 riders go down in a big crash that has caught up a lot of guys. The peloton did not like that breakaway getting away, and so Regatta and Hopkins are in this group back behind, and Hopkins on a -1 race day condition is oh, there you go, back in contact. Right, go back to protecting Regatta. Race day condition has dictated that Hopkins is not that guy today. It's going to be Regatta instead. It's going to be Abdullah instead, who each have +4s, and this was a good draw. This is a short stage. There's 41K left, which is about a third of the stage, so it's about 120K overall. And with the short nature of the stage, the intensity was high, too many riders getting off the front, and so they were never allowed to get a properly established breakaway. They stayed away for 80 kilometers, but we chased hard for 80 kilometers. The lift has really only just happened, so the intensity of this stage has created an interesting scenario, but like I said, the sudden lift has changed that scenario, but now you got guys trying to attack shortly after recovering. We had 10-15 riders going right out the back, and right as I'm starting the recording, we catch that front group, and it all just kind of comes back together with that sudden lift. So we've really got to watch out for these guys that are attacking and not allowing them to get much of a gap, and they don't. It's only 35 seconds, and the chase is pretty hard. It's another punchy stage, but this one actually finishes on a descent with 2 little hills on the way to that finish line. We've got 2 more hills here right about now, but let's go ahead and get up to that 85 territory to make sure we are holding position nice and strong for now with just 25K left. Nobody is too exhausted yet, so that's good. We've still got options. Mahmood, Hopkins, and Sabbath are all going to be leading this thing out for us. We've got one more hill to navigate here before I set us up and get us out front.
This climb is feared by many riders. The percentages are very high.
And here comes the next attack with it. 3-4 riders off the front. Big hard chase. Let the chase do the work for the moment. Got the descent. Let's get Mahmood's gel now. And then, okay, we've made that contact. 16K left. We're going to come out of this descent in a moment. Let's set it up now. Alright, so Mahmoud up first. 14.5K to go, so a little bit shorter distance. Only one rider just out front, so that all is going to be pretty easy to handle. But we're talking high tempo all the way to the finish. This is not going to let up. We're seeing a hefty group of guys. We're going to go 99 with Mahmoud without the red bar. Set what tempo he can. We've split the field. We have split the field. 11K to go. No, it's back together. But the peloton, the green jersey is out of this thing. $10K to go. It's weird. I'm one rider short of what I would expect to have. And we're trying to push on and see that they're still attacking over the top of us. Red bar is only just now fading, so this was not a fact that he was, out of red bar or anything. But 2 climbs, 2 hills, and we're coming up on it. So it's just about time. Hopkins. It's weird to see Hopkins this far up the line. He's only a little punchy, 67. And we've split the field. It's the 4 of us off the front. Here is the chance we've needed. Here is the chance we have needed, that we have been looking for. Gels for the last 2. The gap is growing. Hopkins still eating it out. We're going to switch to Regatta here momentarily. Walters is in a good position to maybe contest GC as well. Hopkins 2K sprinting to put the others under pressure. Regatta sprinting now. Abdullah sprinting and Walters sprinting. We're going to sweep the top 3. Walters is going to come through and take the win, which is going to give him the 10-second time bonus. We have separation over the field. This is going to move us into the GC lead. We've just got a 0.1 victory, so snowball coming for a pop 2, but also GC contender for real with just 2 stages left to go on this one. I'm going to need to check out the profile. I think there was 2 punchy stages and 2 sprint stages. If that's the case, with 2 sprint stages to come and clear separation here, this should be pretty damn easy to hang on to, especially when Abdullah, Regatta, and Hopkins 1, 2, 3, 4 finish with separation. Means we're not only picking up the separation bonus, but the time bonuses for the finish. And yeah, we're sitting pretty. Whew. So 3 remain in the Pop 2 category. Africa has a number of nations, but they're all just 2-1 nations. The Americas have 1 or 2 less than Africa, but it's all 2-1 nations. Europe does have that couple 2-2 nations, so that is the one you would like to get with the first of the 3 remaining draws. Looks like it's going to be the Americas. So the smallest one of the group out of the way. At this point, the 2 1s are a little bit redundant to what's out there. There might be a rider in one of each of these groups of nations, but I doubt there's too many riders that are going to end up getting signed at this stage, just from 2-1 nations and kind of where we're at in the scheme of things and having the likes of Canada available to us. The separation was 16 seconds. Hopkins, who was still ahead of the group by a handful of seconds, they got just close enough to him that they actually got a little boost. It should have been probably 20 plus, but they end up getting same time as Hopkins. Still, that's 26 seconds advantage for Walters, who already had a 6-second advantage on the previous stage for taking second place. Means he's going to be half minute ahead, Abdullah, and then Regatta also getting those bonuses, so they should be second and third. And then there's even separation past 65th, and they were showing, Oriel. I don't know if he's green jersey, polka dot jersey, shouldn't be, right? The front guy. The yellow jersey, the white jersey got dropped behind. The yellow jersey is in, Vatra was there. So in the GC, it's Walters with a 12-second lead over teammate Regatta, with a 22-second lead over Vatra, 28 over Urianstad and Labib, before Hopkins comes in best of the rest at 32 down. And this should be about 65 riders, or 59 riders on that same time at that half minute behind. Work to do to hang on. We've been in this position before and had us fall flat on our face. We're going to see if we can get somebody in the breakaway to help control it that way, and you would want it to be one of the guys in that 32-second down group. Funsavith would be the target man to send in a breakaway. The first of the 8 nations that I just unlocked for the Americas, the 2-1 nations, Cuba. I figured I wasn't going to find much. I might add a few to the short list, but not sign anything. And immediately I've already added 2 to the short list. And this one is looking like somebody I might even want to sign now. It's a close call on that one. He's a 3-star current, 4.5-star potential. Puncher. You can see he's got plenty of space within his web for growth. Just 19 years of age. Comes in fairly similar to a lot of the riders I have. So with, a few levels, he's suddenly one of our best. Right now, he's not quite there, and I don't think I want to sign anymore, but it's definitely making me think about it. As a UAE youth team rider, I have a feeling he's going to have no problem signing somewhere and getting some development for a year and maybe becoming that rider and eventually getting picked up. But I think I'm going to have to pass for now, but I'll keep him on my radar. There was nothing for the Dominican Republic, but for Puerto Rico, Abner Gonzalez, a known quantity with a little bit of quality. He's got 5 victories to his name, 516th world ranking, decent rider, but at 24 years of age, a year or 2 years ago, Abner Gonzalez was somebody that you looked at and said, hey, this is a guy who could be pretty good. He had a lot more potential in the game than he now has, now that he's in his mid-20s, and they're kind of going, yeah, he's a decent rider. He's a 4-star guy, but he's already that 4-star guy. There's very little growth left for Abner Gonzalez. Now, 75 Hills rating for us could be pretty useful, but he does have a contract for next year still, so he'll be on the short list, and probably, but not certainly, probably by the time we get around to the possibility of signing him, he'll likely get passed over. Jamaica, Panama, Bolivia, Paraguay, and Peru. Nothing to add from that list. So it is, as I originally suspected, really just a couple of candidates. I think overall I added 4 to the short list. 3 of those I think are probably better than some of the riders I have on the short list now, but they're really only just kind of average of the prospects that are going to be on that short list. So when I go through that short list again later on, they won't necessarily be eliminated. They were good enough to be there for the time being, but I don't think they're amongst the better prospects that I think I would likely ever be signing, especially as we snowball and accumulate more. That talent just gets deeper and better, and that bottom end will get eliminated, and then that middle group will get eliminated as I get better and better prospects. We're a team that's clearly punched well above our weight this season, but looking back on the series so far, as we're on episode number 20, I don't remember the exact number, but let's say it was 4 or 5 episodes for that first season. That team had no hope. It was about getting through, getting the signings, and moving on. We had a couple close calls there, and it was pretty exciting. So I'm really happy with how that first season went overall. But since then, as we've had this season, 15 episodes or so, and in the 15 episodes, we had 3 wins through the first dozen or so episodes. 1 out of every 4 episodes we secured a win. Now we are 4 wins from 4 episodes. Potential for yet another within this episode as things are going. What's changed? Not much. We have the same team we had. Development wise, a couple riders have picked up a point or 2, but really there has not been any serious development happening this season. The biggest thing that has actually changed is in the mechanics under the hood of the game itself. There was an update post-release, and it was definitely post-entry into Season 2 for me, but it was in the earlier phase of the season. And that update updated the mechanics of sprints. and right now I have a sprint team. The mechanic before, I had pointed this out earlier in the season. The update came soon after. What was happening was when you had a sprint and you had a rider on the wheel of the sprinter, the lead out rider would accelerate and sprint, and then they'd follow, but then that following rider, you'd click sprint and they would drop a bike length behind before beginning to try to accelerate. So half the time your sprinter wouldn't even overtake your lead out rider because of the disadvantage at the beginning of their sprint, which is not how it works in real life. When you come off the wheel, you accelerate off the wheel. You begin your sprint from there. You begin your acceleration from there. You overtake the rider. That's how it works in the real world. They adjusted that acceleration to give it just a nod, just a little tweak. And it's making all the difference. Now, we have seen a rider or two or three occasionally drop the wheel. In fact, in the win we just got with Walters, he dropped a quarter bike length before he came off the wheel and took off for his sprint. That mechanic, that acceleration piece, it's still there to an extent. But now it's not a bike length to a bike length and a half. Now it's a quarter of a wheel. It's a half a wheel. And then they take off. That tiny little adjustment, that one bike length, is making a world of difference in a sprint. And now winning sprints is more possible than before. A good lead out can set you up. You can overcome better sprinters where you couldn't before. But because of that drop, you were essentially on your own, and then it's your sprinter versus their sprinter, and the top sprinter is always going to come out on top. And that's what was happening. It was always the best sprinter. It was, it was Philipsen or it was Girmay every freaking race. Every race. Now there's a diversity in who wins races, and you'll see a top sprinter finish 9th. You'll see a top sprinter finish 5th. You'll see a top sprinter win. They get it right plenty often, but there's now more of a diversity in your winners groups. And thanks to that, and thanks to a proper mechanic on how a sprint should work, we're finding wins more frequently. I think it took me a little bit, for one, the first few episodes, right? So it wasn't 3 in 12. It was more like 3 in 6 or 7. Now that I sort of have that mechanic figured out, I'm getting I've made the little adjustments to how I do my lead outs, and now we're starting to win more frequently. And obviously we can't finish Pop 3 this season, so it will roll over into next season, but Pop 2 is getting closer and closer, and fingers crossed we can still do something here. I've got a couple races to go. If they're short sprints, we'll get to them quickly. Stage just getting underway, and we're going to have to show some of the early stage here because we've got to get this breakaway under control. I want Funsavith to attack, but Funsavith is only just making his way through the peloton, and guys have attacked from kilometer zero. Numerous guys, including riders that are in that 32-second down group, meaning riders who would, over Funsavith, take control. So big attack groups, and I've gone ahead and used Regatta, who sits second overall, to ride hard. Now I'm perfectly content with one rider going away, even though he's the guy who's 32 seconds down, but he's going to be very easy to chase if we can get him out to 2 minutes very quickly. So setting up for a little bit so this can get out, and let's now save Regatta, who's sitting second overall. Let's use Funsavith. I don't think I need to attack with him. It's a minute and a half. I don't want others to attack along with Funsavith. I want one guy away. So we will ride easy. Let it get out to 2 minutes. Let it get out to 2 minutes. Here comes the next wave of attacks. I think these are the guys you want to stop. Yeah, a 10th place would. It's not what I want. I don't I don't even want 3 guys going away. So where are we? Funsabeth.
Watch out! A team leader is falling behind.
I want 1 rider. This 1 rider is ideal. So Funsabeth riding hard. Others are riding hard as well. That's good. They are chasing that down. They don't want those guys away either. Okay, well, we've caught 1. It's Wood. Wood is one of the danger guys. We're down to 3, but yes, you still have a guy 32 seconds down. It's a different guy, but you do have a guy in that position. Let's back off just a little bit more. They have a 50-second advantage, which is very minor. 95k to go.
The pack is putting a squeeze on the
Love to
breakaway.
see others join the chase. Now, right now, we're in trouble for trying to win a stage. So we're coming up on 60k left to go. 1 of the 3 riders at the front ended up getting dropped and coming back to the group. The other 2 are 50 seconds ahead. I've backed off more with my 2 guys doing the work, but other teams have stepped up to support. 6.5 minutes to Mahmoud. That's one to keep an eye out on. All we need is for him to avoid whatever time cutoff there is. And with a short sprint stage, it's not going to be a large time cutoff. I mean, right now he looks fine at 7 minutes, but you know, if he gets out to 15, that might be enough to get eliminated. But with 2 riders in just half a minute, it looks like today is firmly under control, and sprint teams are definitely wanting to go for it. And Funsabeth and Abdullah are both recovering, so we will still have access to some lead-out riders. I'm going to go ahead and actually switch this too, and have Funsabeth now just sit on and Abdullah feint work and protect Regatta. Get some more recovery in. But it's now 8.5 minutes to Mahmoud, and the breakaway is done with 45k left to go. Abdullah has now taken over, so the others have sat up now that we caught these guys. 63 is not much tempo, so this is a wide open opportunity for others to gain, and we're only doing just ever so slight damage to our chaser of Mahmoud, and if we don't control the peloton, somebody will just flat out attack. So we've got to ride. We have got to ride. All right, double climb, kind of a triple climb on the way to the finish, plus 2 slight little hills. Otherwise, it's a sprint finish today, and yeah, this is okay. This is under control. Nobody's riding too hard, but nobody's attacking. So this is pretty dang ideal. It's also helping with Mahmoud not get crazy far behind. Uncategorized, but definitely one of the hardest climbs of the day right now. We're over the steepest portion. The leaders are fine. They're not hurting. This is mostly about Mahmoud hurting, now over 10 minutes down. And a group has dropped away, 23 riders. They regained contact. Somebody had enough firepower to pull it back. Here's that small false flat. And we're down to 1 proper climb and 1 small hill on the way to the finish. And 19 kilometers left. And we are seeing riders split off. I have 5 to do the dirty work. We are 12 minutes ahead of Mahmoud. I am worried about the time cutoff with him. But at 15k and this gentle slope, this is the time to get organized and take control. Walter's, of course, the guy in first, and it's not going to be Hopkins that he's leading out. It's Regatta, because Regatta is 2nd overall. Hopkins is 6th overall and on a -2, so it just makes sense. Funsabeth, Abdullah. Yeah, Funsabeth is also in the good place at 32 down, so Abdullah definitely the guy to do the work. I don't want a 99 at all. Can you give me a 92, and what sort of ride will that be? All we need to do is watch out for an attack, and there's definitely 2 teams accelerating. Is that 2 teams, or is that 1 team going just flat out? I think that's 2 separate jerseys. Yeah, this is black. That's got some sort of colored pattern. 2 teams with just similar looking jerseys. A little confusing there. Red Bar definitely taking a hit on this hill, but we're doing okay. We'll have a descent to recover the red bar. This is Walters, 5K to go. Abdullah gives us a lead out, 4.6K, so on to Funsavith. Abdullah to follow. Nobody's going to get dropped from our team. We are not in a good position at the moment. This is the last hill right now, 3.3K. Starting our sprint very early as I have numbers, and I want to attack over the top, which pulls us out front. Exactly what I was hoping for with that. 2K, Hopkins, Regatta. Walters is way behind, but what can Regatta or Hopkins do? Nothing. That they were operating as lead out guys, but no time loss, which was the main thing. And Walsh, Arns, and Hicks are not threats in the GC, so all good there. Separation in the field, will it be given? Classified sprint stage? Probably not. It all happened in the last bit over the climb. I would imagine the 92 riders will still be on the same time. But Mahmoud, 16:40 down. 22 minutes is the cutoff. Let's gel up for him. He's got 11K to go. A 141 heart rate, but he's not recovering. Unlucky there. 17 minutes down. Over the top of the final climb for him. He's got the descent coming. He's getting that little bit of recovery, and he goes to use it. Gets a little acceleration there on the flat. He's going to hit that last hill. He's now 16 minutes down over that last hill. 2K to go. 18 minutes down. 19 minutes down. 20 flat. He makes the time cut just barely. After 49th, a half-minute gap was given. So that's going to separate the field a little bit more. Walters and Regatta still up front. Vatra at 22 down is not a threat to the GC as long as we don't have a gap. As long as we can stop a gap, no one can overtake us now. You've got your top guys there in place. Hopkins drops to 10th with, not a wonderful finish on that one. And the group has thinned out a little bit more. Now it's just 33 riders. A minute to chasers. Yeah, that's a group that includes 20 plus. Still got to watch out for really any of them. I mean, it's pretty dang close, kind of across the board. Mahmoud is last overall, 104th, but not eliminated. We're going to take this stage complete beginning to end because it's only 90K. We're already down to 80. So we have got to get everybody to the front of the field early. We have got to get guys supporting Funsavith, who fortunately this time was near the front of the field, and Mahmoud. So I've got 3 guys to do the work. This is all just about keeping the breakaway away. If we don't win the stage today, I'm okay with that. This is the only climb. There's another hill following it shortly thereafter, but then it's relatively flat all the way to the finish. Just slight hills, nice big wide roads. That should be pretty dang easy. Very much a sprint stage. So it's 3 riders off the front. Shimajima, who's 6 minutes down. Olivo, 58 seconds. So 58 seconds is the gap to those two. And I'm okay with those guys getting out just a little bit more. So we're going to back off. It's a minute and a half. If others are content with them getting out front, we can give them that 2 minutes. Others now contributing to the chase. As I backed off to a 67, we're holding at a minute 50. And the first of those 3 riders is coming back. Shimajima never made contact with them. It's the other 2 that are the threat anyway. But now they're less of a threat. For one, they're only a minute and a half ahead. And 2, there's only 2 of them. All we're getting is a little team bonus. And the front 2 have split apart. So they are already struggling and coming backwards. Done for the day, and we are amongst the groups leading this thing out. It's going quite well. Everybody's available for the sprint, but so is everybody else, and it's a big wide road, so it's not going to be an easy sprint. Can Mahmoud get into position and still give us something? 9.8K, we're getting out front. That's good. Starting to stretch the field. Back off just a little bit as we get in there. Mahmoud, where's Walters? Where's Hopkins?
Of the main sprinters are not handing out tickets for a breakaway, so the stage will end up in a
other than Hopkins and Walters, we're in place. 7.5K, and there we go. Full team in place. 6K. The weakness of Mahmoud has brought the others up alongside, even though he's going 99. They're just faster and stronger than him. Funsavith He's not great either. He's a 62. 4.5K. We are going to have to sprint early. 3.9. Look at the others taking off and going past us. Regatta. 2.6, and he's lost Hopkins. And they're coming through. They're coming through a little late, but they're coming through. Now they're out front. And here goes Walters. Walters. Tarakchi's got it. Another second place, but that is an overall victory, so we don't get a triple. We are going to get the double. I'll take it. I'll take it. That is confirmed, obviously. We didn't lose any time. We're good to go, and Walters gets a second place, but he gets the overall race victory, and that is considered the exact same thing as before. That can improve your nation's popularity rating. So that is a Pop 2 victory, this time taken from GC, and comfortably, because he was already ahead. He just added 6 more seconds. Only one rider gained 4 seconds on him is all. Abdullah was 6th. Vatra was down in 13th. Mahmoud was 15th, and Regatta was 20th. What happened to Hopkins? Hopkins was 25th. Not sure how he ended up so far down after leading out. All right, only 2 groups remain in our Pop 2 category. It's Africa or Europe. Europe with the 3 2-2 nations is the obvious one that you would love to draw and will draw. So all that's left is Africa. 1 single nation left before we are done with the 0.1 races for good. There might be a rider in here with a few 2-2 nations that could make things interesting on my final choices for next season. Confirmation of our overall race victory for Red Walters, with Regatta taking 2nd place and Hopkins in 11th. The points classification was also ours. The mountain we picked up organically. Regatta gets the under 25s, and we get the team classification. Total domination across all but one category of this race. Really good result for us. This was not about race day condition, right? We beat these teams head to head, and the main reason we were able to beat these teams head to head because it was a weaker field. That's the bottom line. They were still riders that were better than us on paper, but only just. So we weren't 10, 15 points behind. We were a couple points behind the vast majority of the field. There was one strong sprinter. All you had to do was have him out of position and not be set up right, and you could beat him. We got a couple second places and 1 first place, and that was enough to get the overall GC, which essentially was a double victory. And that is a fantastic first time that we have managed to do that in terms of the snowballing. It's the first time we've taken a GC in the snowballing. Should have been second, but we'll let that first one go. I screwed the pooch on that one. But anyway, this was a very good result. There are 7 new European nations that have been added into the pool. We'll take a look at those at the beginning of the next episode as we head into our next race. We now have 7 days of racing left on the year. Potentially, all it takes is 1 more victory in the 0.1s, which is 6 of those 7 days. So 1 more amongst those 6 days, and it is job done on the Pop 2s. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.